Greetings everyone. Hope you guys are doing absolutely well. Welcome to Defense Drive. Friends, today we will be discussing a topic which you have heard several times, like अपने डे टू डे लाइफ में आप लोगों ने सुना होगा, न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ा होगा, टीवी में देखा होगा. Yes, we will be talking about communalism in India. So starting with, first of all, what is communalism? As per the statement, communalism is a complex and multifaceted concept that refers to the promotion of interest of a particular community or group, often at the expense of the other community or groups. Means कम्युनलिज्म ऐसा होता है कि एक कम्युनिटी का जो इंटरेस्ट है, ठीक है, वो ओवरलैप कर जाता है दूसरी कम्युनिटी के इंटरेस्ट और रिक्वायरमेंट्स और नेसेसिटीज़ के ऊपर, विच ऑफन रिजल्ट टू कॉन्फ्लिक्ट बिटवीन द टू ग्रुप्स. जैसे कि हमने अक्सर देखा है कि कम्युनलिज्म हो जाता है हिंदू मुस्लिम कम्युनिटीज़ के बीच में, ओके, और एक्सेट्रा, और बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं जैसे कि कोई रिलीजन के बेसिस पे कम्युनलिज्म हो जाता है. सो वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग इन द लेटर पार्ट. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल वी विल बी डिस्कसिंग व्हाट आर द की फीचर्स ऑफ कम्युनलिज्म. कम्युनलिज्म कैसे अराइज करता है, उसका ओरिजिन कैसे है. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट अराइज ड्यू टू एक्सक्लूसिव आइडेंटिटी. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, कम्युनलिज्म एम्फेसाइज ऑन द exclusive identity of a particular community or group, often based on religion, caste or ethnicity. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल कम्युनलिज्म कैसे राइज करता है. मान लो कोई एक जगह है जहाँ पे दो अलग अलग टाइप की कम्युनिटी रहती हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल ए एंड बी कम्युनिटी. अब जो ए कम्युनिटी है, ए कम्युनिटी, पीपल बिलोंगिंग टू ए कम्युनिटी थिंक्स दैट देयर कल्चर, देयर रिलीजन, देयर एथनिसिटी इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द पीपल बिलोंगिंग टू कम्युनिटी बी. सो इसकी वजह से कॉन्फ्लिक्ट अराइजेज. तो ये लोग एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते हैं एक दूसरे को देखना, या फिर एक दूसरे के कल्चर में इंटरफेयर करना, या फिर दूसरे के कल्चर को पसंद नहीं करते ये लोग, क्योंकि सेकेंड पॉइंट इज अस वर्सेस देम मेंटेलिटी. बिकॉज कम्युनलिज्म क्रिएट्स अ बाइनरी अपोजिशन बिटवीन अस एंड देम, ऑफन लीडिंग टू मिसट्रस्ट एंड हॉस्टिलिटी एंड वायलेंसेस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वही ए एंड बी कम्युनिटी, अभी ए कम्युनिटी वाले लोग बी कम्युनिटी वाले पे ट्रस्ट करना थोड़ा डिफ़िकल्टी होती है. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ़ आई यूज़ इन लेमन टर्म, हिंदू मुस्लिम जैसे ही अक्सर होता रहता है, हिंदू मुस्लिम में होता है, एंड जाट गुज्जर में होता है, ऐसे ही इंटर कास्ट भी होता रहता है. सो यही है, मिसट्रस्ट क्रिएट हो जाता है इन कम्युनिटीज़ के बीच में, अस वर्सेस देम मेंटेलिटी के लिए. थर्ड पॉइंट, politicization of identity. Communalism involves the politicization of identity, where political parties and leaders exploit communal sentiments to mobilize support and gain power. For example, इसमें ऐसा है कि एक प्लेस है जहाँ पे ए बी सी कम्युनिटी के लोग रहते हैं. यहाँ पे अभी इलेक्शंस होने, and the elections are going to be conducted at this particular place. So people belonging to A community will support the leader of A community. People belonging to B community, they will give vote to the candidate of B community. So do this C community, okay, because the leader belongs to their particular community, they will vote them only, not because they will not consider the what benefits he or the leader will be, or the candidate will be offering them. They will vote only because of their community, because the candidate belongs to that one particular community. So this will give rise to politicization of identity, and oftentimes it will create conflict on the basis of religion, caste and politics. Fourth point is discrimination and exclusion. Communalism often leads to discrimination and exclusion of a marginalized community, denying them access to resources, opportunities and social services. Like you have seen in the past times, अभी तो ऐसा नहीं होता है, when people belonging to one particular community were denied access to their bathing ghats, water wells, tube wells and other facilities, etc. But after the when India got independence and when constitution came into existence, in article 15 it was mentioned that no person belonging to any religion, caste, sex, age group will not face discrimination on that basis. But still, on what we call that, in daily life we have seen that in the past years people used to face this kind of difficulty. Now talking about types of communalism. First is religious communalism. This type of communalism is based on religious differences and tensions between different religious groups. First is Hindu Muslim, you can say Muslim, Sikhs, and etc. Hindu Muslim, Christian, Buddhism, they also face this type of communalism. Second is caste based communalism. This type of communalism is based on caste differences, like I mentioned earlier, like Jat and Gujars. It is very prominent example in Hindus, and Shia Sunnis in Muslims, and there are many more examples. Like third is linguistic communalism. We have seen in recent times that southern states of India have this kind of a tendency that in particularly in Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, they experience this type of linguistic differences. So there are always tensions created between different language groups. Like for someone from north goes to these particular states, he will observe the differences, like how this type of differences he will face there. Fourth is ethnic communalism. This type of communalism is based on ethnic differences and tensions between different ethnic groups, like we have seen in the recent times in Manipur violence which took place between the Methi community and Kuki community. This was a prominent example of ethnic communalism. Now, talking about the causes of communalism, historical legacies, how this communalism arises. Because the legacy of colonialism, partitions, historical conflicts has all contributed to communal tensions in India. First of all, when India was under the British colony, so what Britishers did, they used the policy of divide and rule. So they divided Hindus in different castes like Brahmins, Kshatriyas, and then different things. So which created a difference in the mentality of Hindus at that point of time, that we are different from them. So slowly and gradually those differences increased and later became a bond of contention between the both communities or two or more communities, giving conflicts. Third, during the partitions. In 1947, when India got partied into two different nations, that was also a prominent example when Hindu-Muslim rights were observed. Next, socio-economic factors. Poverty, unemployment, competition for resource have fueled communal sentiments and conflicts. Here, Manipur example is also a good example there. And like we have seen in South African nations as well as in Pakistan, India, communalism arises due to poverty and unemployment, because people belonging to different communities will demand reservations, resources for their particular community from the state. So they will demand more reservation or more resources, so that will create a sense of fear among the people of different communities. So thus communal tensions arises. Third, politico-religious ideologies. The rise of political-religious ideologies such as Hindu nation and Islamic fundamentalism has contributed to communalism in India. So we have seen in the recent times that most political leaders or religious leaders, they often talk about Hindu Rashtra or Muslim Rashtra. But we know that India is a secular country which is positive about secularism, means they accept all kind of religion existing in India. So it gives shelter to all religions, and not saying that India belongs to one particular religion or one particular community. So the tension arises because one particular community believes that if the people from another community, if they gain majority, they will do the changes in the constitution, or like they will create more tensions for that nation. Fourth, contribution of authors and historical literatures. This is one of the examples when the ideological differences were created, because we have read in our books that there was a battle between Hindus and Muslims, like some invaders invaded India, and like giving religion to the invaders, And so this created a difference in the mindset of people, like one particular community do all those things. So this created a mistrust in the mind of people, that we should not trust this one particular community, or like these people belonging to this particular community are our enemies. This is a past, so let the past be past. Now talking about the consequences of communalism. Like the most prominent consequence of communalism is violence is rights. There are several examples of violence is right that took place by communalism, like 1947 partition of India, 1984 anti-Sikh riot, 1989 Kashmiri Pandit genocide, 1992 Babri Masjid demolition, Godhra riot, Assam violence, Muzaffarnagar riots, North Delhi riots. There are several other examples which took place due to communalism. So the end result of communalism is violence and riots, resulting in loss of life, life of property, social cohesion, etc. Second thing, social polarization. Communalism has exacerbated social polarization, eroding trust, creating division between communities. Like I said earlier, due to like bifurcating people of different communities, so and it will result to riots and violences, which will cause rising distrust between two or more communities. Third point, undermining democracy. Communalism has undermined democratic institutions, values, and principles, threatening the very fabric of Indian democracy. India is a democratic country, we know, and it gives shelters to all the people of different religion, caste, sex, age, ethnicity. But communalism is the one particular factor, like we in layman's terms we call that TMUC, or which is biting Indian constitution, or like the basic principle of Indian constitution of harmony. So these were the end results of communalism. Talking about what is the possible solution. Moving to the solution part, like how we can combat communalism. First of all, by promoting secularism, strengthening secularism, and promoting a culture of tolerance, inclusivity, and diversity. Like we know that the origin of communalism was lack of these things: distrust between secularism, not including or accepting the other community, creating a difference in the diversity, the lack of cultural intolerance. These were the basic reasons of the rise of communalism. So if we can address these factors, we can lessen the communalism and distrust between the people. Second is encouraging inter-community dialogues, fostering dialogues, understanding, and cooperation between different communities, like calling joint meetings of different religious leaders, political leaders, community leaders, and addressing their concerns and problems with each other, and coming to a common conclusion, so that these riots does not take place in the future. Third, addressing socio-economic inequalities. Addressing socio-economic inequalities and promoting inclusive development to reduce competition and tensions between community. So these are the factors we can take into account for combating communalism. There are other factors which we call healing factors, like addressing historical mistakes. Like what has already been in the past, we cannot change that. But what we can do, we can just accept the mistakes that were made by people, and we can give an assurance that these actions will not be happening in the future. Like first, addressing historical mistakes, like 1947 partition, which was a result of Hindu-Muslim rights. It was arise by Hindu-Muslim rights, and it resulted also in Hindu-Muslim rights. Second, 1992 Babri Masjid demolition, 1984 Sikh rights. We can address that these were the mistakes that were done by very few people, which affected their larger community and creating a sense of distrust between their community and others. Second is promotion of communal harmony programs. Like I said here, bringing a joint meeting of religious leaders, political leaders, community leaders, cultural leaders, and ethnic group leaders to a common ground, and where they can discuss their problems with each other and come to a common conclusion. Third is education medium. Like education is the most powerful tool which we have right now. By means of education, we can empower anyone and we can train anyone like in any form. And we can use this medium in positive manner, like addressing the past mistakes and promoting communal harmony programs. We can do such. At last, by understanding the complexities of communalism and addressing in its root causes, we can work toward creating a more inclusive, tolerant, and harmonious society. At the end, we can conclude this by saying that the cooperation between all the communities, all the ethnic groups, will end result to make a strong nation. And with that note, I would like to thank you, all of you. Have a great day.